As dawn breaks over a muddy field in Shropshire, half a dozen members of the Noble Pursuit's metal detecting group are scouring the stubble in search of treasure.
I mean, it's a hobby that you have to love to do, I think. You look at some people and say, oh, I dig up rusty metal in fields all day, and they think you're off your head. But I think when the hobby gets you, it gets you. And when you're sort of connecting with history that people haven't seen in 2,000 years, that's the excitement for me. You're never going to get rich finding stuff unless you're extremely lucky. But for me, any old thing that's got an interesting bit of history behind it is just as exciting as the next one. You know, it could be fairly recent, it could be ancient, but as long as it's got an interesting piece of history to me, it's fascinating.
According to Discovering Shropshire History, taken from notes by Dr. David Jenkins, the county's landscape holds a rich history spanning thousands of years.
There's quite a lot of Roman history around and quite a lot of medieval history around. It's quite rare to find a field in Shropshire that doesn't produce at least one or two medieval coins because we've got such a diverse medieval history. And then in the right place you tend to find quite large concentrations of Roman, but the Roman tends to be more concentrated in areas you either don't really find any or you tend to find quite a lot, whereas the medieval seems to just be a bit more scattered around, really. You can kind of find a little bit of that everywhere.
In Market Drayton, near to where this dig was held, a Saxon settlement called Draytoun was established near the Church of St Mary, which was built in approximately 950 AD. The discovery of a Bronze Age axe and hammerhead may suggest the town's history dates back to the Bronze Age, although no evidence of a settlement has been found.
My favourite find is probably the Roman fibula that I found first, because I've very rarely seen any in that kind of level of preservation. I found it with a really cheap detector. It had only been outgoing for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, barely even knew what it was. It's still the best one I've ever found.